What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and responding to a thread, a little bit of a breaking news bit from Matt Walsh and his team. Credit where credit is due. I think this is excellent work, really revealing to the world just how easy life-changing, life-altering surgeries can be signed off on under the guise of gender affirming. And these are forever changes. These are not like a bad haircut or a tattoo you regret. This is something that will change your body forever. We're told that these things don't happen without great thought and without great attention to essentially saving someone's life, that they're the last possible chance to keep somebody around. Turns out that's all a lie. Turns out it took 22 minutes to get somebody who has absolutely no biological, physiological problems signed off on having a part of his body removed in the name of gender affirming. It's absolutely appalling. I give Matt Walsh a ton of credit on this, credit where credit is due. And I want to go through this thread that he just shared and share my thoughts on it. By the way, Father's Day is just 1 week away. Coffee Brand Coffee's Father's Day gift boxes available in the description below. Promo code DAD to save 10%. Fathers out there, send the page to your kids or wives. Let them know what you want. You can also custom build everything you might possibly ever need. And you support local business, which is great. And businesses that won't get woke. Breaking. The largest, quote, trans healthcare providers in the United States are rubber stamping letters of approving life-altering surgeries. It's such a racket that my producer was approved to remove his balls in just 22 minutes. The tape is disturbing. First, some background. Ari Groner is a licensed clinical social worker who educates doctors on, quote, trans healthcare. At a recent training for the Juniper Center, Groner explained that she writes whatever letters her patients want because she's not a gatekeeper.
We sort of will go again into understanding that I'm not going to be a gatekeeper. I'm not going to be a person that's going to stop them from accessing care. I'm not there to determine if they're trans enough. I'm going to write them this letter.
Medical malpractice, I would think. I'm not a lawyer, though. 3. Groner was referring to the WPATH standards, which major hospitals follow. They require that a trans patient obtain a letter before undergoing any type of surgery. But Groner tells her audience to treat the letters as a persuasive essay to greenlight even people with thoughts of self-harm, regardless.
Any psych history that might be helpful to sort of showing the necessity. So if, let's say, a client has a psych history that includes like suicidal ideation or a suicide attempt, and you can connect it to the gender dysphoria, that actually can be sort of a positive.
To be clear, what she's saying here is, I assume, I don't even know, hey, use this, the lowest moment in this person's life, when they try to do this horrible thing, and use that to feed the medical machine to get this approval through.
Persuasive essay piece, and I'll talk about that in a little bit, because you can kind of show what this is so necessary, right? This is how this is impacting this person's life, and this is why this procedure is necessary and needed. I have found that when
there is a tips, if you're just listening at home, there is a tips and tricks section.
I frame it in a, we're going to kind of use this as a persuasive essay and we're going to really, kind of stick it to them. There's a little bit more fun with it in the way we even use language. So I found that
lie, embellish, exaggerate. This is what, in my opinion, she's implying here. Whatever it takes to get this surgery approved. Why? Reasons. Are they effective and fix anything? Don't know. What's a critical journey? Don't know. Will it fix anything? Don't know. What they do know is it makes a ton of money for these hospitals. Groner explains that insurance companies won't pay for these surgeries unless the patient is diagnosed with gender dysphoria. So she says healthcare workers should provide the diagnosis. We're using that diagnosis, she said, to ensure clients get the necessary treatment. So, insurance fraud? Is this why my premiums keep going up? Is because people like Groner is just saying, hey, we got to get the insurance company to pay for it. Just write a persuasive essay. Have fun with it, even in the words you choose. Whatever insurance companies might think of that, it's the industry standard. The popular trans telehealth service, for example, instructs patients that even if they don't, quote, fit the definition of gender dysphoria, the diagnosis is, quote, needed so that insurances will pay out. Maybe insurance companies will actually be a little more interested in this now. Doesn't it seem like maybe that's the case? Like, maybe? I mean, certainly I would think so. Sorry to pause that. My dogs were battling it out. Folks, by the way, which provides letters authorizing these surgeries for a nominal fee, goes on to admit that it's quite possible patients will receive a letter indicating a gender dysphoria diagnosis, even though they really don't even have it. We reached out to folks about this. A staff member confirmed that a diagnosis of gender dysphoria with the word diagnosis in scare quotes is a requirement for insurance purposes, even if it doesn't apply. You see, hey, Chelsea, thanks for reaching out. My name is blah, blah, blah. I'm a member of the navigators here at Folks. To answer your first question, yes, we provide letters of recommendation for gender-affirming surgeries and procedures. Celebration emoji. It's so heartwarming to hear you are out and happy. My understanding is that the, quote, diagnosis of gender dysphoria has become a requirement to have. So the quotes are saying, like, what is it, not real? Then he goes on to continue. The largest trans healthcare provider in the United States, Plume Clinic, runs a similar scam. They sell letters for $150 authorizing surgeries. That's how our producer, Greg, shout out to Greg, I don't know. Do they have me blocked? Whoa. Interesting. Never interacted with that person. Anyway, received approval for having their balls removed after a 22-minute video call. In his intake form with Plume, Greg provided a fake legal name. He said he had dysphoria in the past, but stated he had never experienced it for 6 months or more. Under the current version of DSM-5, he doesn't have gender dysphoria. Plume quickly scheduled Greg for a video interview anyway. He assumed the identity Chelsea Bussy. Oh my God, that's a little on the nose. He didn't even attempt to pass. He badly mispronounced the name of the surgery he wanted. He made it clear he didn't know what the effect of the surgery would even be. Nevertheless, Plume's nurse, and he has the videos that you can watch too. Nevertheless, Plume's nurse practitioner said she wanted to write the most solid letter possible to justify the surgery. Greg tells her that he once wrote an essay in school about being a woman, which everyone thought was ridiculous. Greg also tells Plume's nurse practitioner that his father has been prescribing him hormones for years. The nurse doesn't question this in any way. Instead, she says the argument is perfect.
And your dad is the one that's doing the hormone replacement therapy for you?
Yeah, so he's actually a doctor, and he knows a lot of doctors who do it, who prescribe it.
Perfect. And is your dad providing a letter for you as well?
No, that's part of why I'm
conflict.
Yeah, I think there's a conflict there, and that's also part of the reasons why he involves other doctors with me as well. Is he just thinks it's better to have an independent person do it. He could have done it. He told me he could have done it, but I said, yeah, it's better not to do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't want him to get in trouble. 3 days later, Plume sent the letter to, quote, Chelsea Bussy, who does not exist, saying that he was experiencing significant ongoing gender dysphoria. The letter strongly recommended Chelsea for testicular removal. It says, Chelsea Bussy has met the WPATH criteria for gender dysphoria and is an appropriate candidate for ball removal. The letter kept capitalizing, I'm going to mispronounce this, I'm not going to try it, without it before it, as it had been copy pasted to a template. Greg followed up to learn why he had been diagnosed with gender dysphoria. Plume admitted they just used the letter for templates. Just checking in. I'm not sure this will be okay in the letter. I'm not really considering myself to be dysmorphic, so wanted to check in on that one thing. Otherwise, looks great. Thank you. Hi, Chelsea. This is Blank, a care coordinator with Plume. I will page your provider to see what this says. I know we write letters based on WPATH templates, but I can ask your provider if it's necessary to have it. Later, Plume's nurse practitioner confirmed that, quote, in order to have surgery paid for, the dysmorphia diagnosis would need to remain. At the same time, the nurse appeared to confused as to why Chelsea Bussey had requested a testicle removal in the first place. This is about making money, isn't it? It's just about making money. This seems like an insurance scam to me. I'm not a legal expert, but it seems very odd. The scam is cutting edge of trans healthcare. After launching just a couple of years ago, Plume now operates in 41 states. Folks is in 47. How is it possible they've expanded so quickly? The answer is that there's big money behind this. Plume and Folks raised more than $45 million last year, and Craft Ventures just led Plume's $14 million fundraising. Insurance companies like Aetna, United Health Group, and Cigna work with Plume. Do they know they're paying for surgeries based on obviously false information? Some states have restricted this kind of, quote, medicine. Florida, for example, recently passed a law banning the most trans telehealth services. It means you phone in, Trans activists have complained that the law is onerous. They're furious because they know the gender transition industry is corrupt and fraudulent from the ground up. Protecting kids is just one piece of the puzzle. The fight begins here. Excellent work, Matt. Excellent work. I don't take it personally that your producer blocked me. Probably didn't like me criticizing you in the past. But this is just simply excellent work by Matt. And shocking. It'll be interesting to see if insurance companies respond to this, because I think that's probably the only people that will. If you enjoyed this video, I hope that you'll subscribe down below. I hope you head over to coffeebrandcoffee.com, pick up your Father's Day gift box or your quartering crossover hat, which is a one-time printing. Orders close on Friday for that. We'll talk to you again real soon.